Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean, this is In The Mixer, episode 75. Happy Friday, happy end of the week, happy halfway point of the championship season, wherever in the world you happen to be watching from. It's been a fantastic week so far. I'm really enjoying the challenge of championship football, but it is a challenge. We're going to jump in, we're going to have a look at the results we've had over the last couple of games and bring you guys up to date to everything else that's happening around the club. You may have noticed wearing the Thames FC jersey for this one, hoping it'll bring us a little bit of luck. We haven't had a 6-point episode so far in the championship. Maybe today is that day. And of course, Thames being the greatest lower league save on YouTube that has ever happened. Always good to dust off the kit, and hopefully it'll bring us luck in this episode. So, as you guys can currently see, sitting in 13th position in the division, 17 games played, 6 wins, 4 draws and 7 defeats in that time. We have had a tough run of it. We, of course, had a fantastic September, which we spoke about in the last episode, and then a really poor October where we only picked up 1 win in that time. We then lost 2-0 to Cardiff as well, and were poor in this game. We went 2-0 down in the first 10 minutes, and I thought we were going to get beaten by 10. Tyron Taylor had a horrific game. Pretty much none of our defence actually rocked up. And I think this was the game where I decided, okay, we're going to start rotating people based on their form, fitness, all that sort of stuff. We made a couple of changes to the lineup with Kingsley Smith, Sam Morris, and Rafinha coming in, and we managed to get a result. I don't think we were the better side by any stretch. If we have a look at the stats here, we kind of FM'd them a little bit. 11 shots, 5 on target. 54% of the ball. They had 16 shots, 7 on target, and some very good opportunities for their front two. But we managed to hold ourselves fast. We managed to kind of get our shit together and get 2 goals on the counter. When I look at key passes for the game, we did all right, but they did as well. They definitely had enough opportunities to also go on and win the game if they had. And hopefully that is a bit of a turnaround in form, because we've got winnable games against Ipswich, who are in 14th position, 1 spot behind us, and Blackburn, who are down in 18th. For those of you who are eagle-eyed, you will already have seen here, when we last played Blackburn in the Carabao Cup, our reserve squad lost 6-1. So a massive opportunity to try and get revenge. Our team talk is pretty much taken care of, and I would desperately love to finish the week and set ourselves up for a massive week next week with 6 points and headed to December in the hectic Christmas period on the back of a good little run of form. Now, one of the things I did want to highlight, I've been trying kind of like each week to show you guys a different thing. We started with introducing the squad, went through the tactic a little bit, our scheduling, whatever else. One of the things that I don't think I've brought up in any episodes today, which is ridiculous to think we've been through 75 episodes and haven't mentioned it, is our staffing. You can see here, we are the best or the highest average rating in the division across the entire Sky Bet Championship, which is fantastic. We have churned through a tremendous amount of staff. Not all my doing, but a lot of players have gone and gotten managerial roles, coaching roles at bigger clubs, all that sort of stuff that comes along with it. We've got 14 coaching staff at the minute, 11 first team coaches split across general, goalkeeping and fitness. And effectively what I do is for goalkeeping, I just search for for the manager that has the highest attribute that's available on the market and willing to join. I do the same thing for fitness coaching as well. But for general coaching, what I effectively try and do is pick up ex-players. If we go and have a look at the coaches that we've got and the relative assignments with that, we focus just on first team players. Don't worry about John Welsh. Herman Rydeson's just joined as my assistant manager in the last couple of weeks. 20 defensive training as well. We picked him up. 20 adaptability as well. Very, very impressive. He's only got he's got a Continental Pro license, so he can't get anything further. I thought it was going to say National Pro. We've got Danny Potter as a goalkeeping coach. He looks very, very solid as well. We've had him for a couple of seasons. He's done quite well. Dimitri Kareen we've picked up because he was good at distribution. We didn't have a goalkeeper that could do it. And Graham Hewitt there to sort out shot stopping, which is his kind of bread and butter. At the same time, we've also picked up a bunch of different players that have international experience. Wes Brown has been in the side coaching since I think like Van Armour national level. He's been there for quite a while. We've got Phil Neville in there as well. Currently works on fitness coaching a little bit because we're very strong defensively. John Terry's in there. Matthew Etherington's in there. Luke Tisdale we picked up recently. He's a very, very good goalkeeper for attacking technical attributes. Ian Robin you may have picked out already. We've previously had Gary Neville briefly before he got a full-time coaching job. I think it was at MK Dons, and now he's gone on to Wigan. My previous assistant was a guy named Dan Heffernan, who came through the A-League that I recognised very early on in the save. He has since moved on to be the lead manager at MK Dons this most recent season. We had Jamie Vardy for a little while. He's taken a first-team coaching position at Swansea. We briefly had Paul Scholes, but he's back at Manchester United now. We can't get him out. So there's been a whole bunch of different ex-players that have kind of come through with high-level international experience. And I always think that's a good way to try and pick up players that have coached at a really high level, played at a really high level, that are going to make that easy transition to coaches. And we give them most of their badges throughout the course of stuff. Whenever it comes up as a little reminder throughout the course of the week in our inbox, I will try and push the board to give everyone their coaching badges to help them improve quite a bit. But for the first time in, I think, quite a while, we've actually got the best coaches in the division across each individual range, which is fantastic to see. So we're going to continue trying to develop towards that. We're going to continue trying to keep ourselves as the best. Other clubs may jump above us, but I think it puts us in a good position to jump up into the higher division and do quite well. The downside is our facilities still aren't great. And I think in a previous episode, I said that our facilities were going to be sorted by October. It's October of next year, so there's still quite a way to go before our youth facilities and training facilities are done. We finally have data analysis facilities, which is fantastic. And you can see there's a whole bunch of different other stuff that's come through in the last few years. Coaches allowed, expanding stadiums, new contracts, coaching courses, all that sort of stuff has been completed and will disappear from that list at the moment. The board, interestingly enough, when I went to talk to them about potentially adding an additional coach to bring another fitness coach on board, said that they weren't currently happy. We were in the worst run of form and they were concerned about play performances. So Lewis Wright, Tyrone Taylor and Sam Morris are the guys we ironically dropped at the same time, just to try and placate them a little bit. A B is still fine. It's a passing grade. I don't think there's any massive pressure on me at this point, given that I just have signed a 4-year deal as well, albeit at a reduced rate. But the other one worth looking at is that we're not playing attacking football, apparently. Even though we have a positive structure, even though we have a positive mentality, even though we are scoring quite frequently and struggling to keep clean sheets, they are seemingly upset by that. So that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on throughout the course of the season as well. But more than enough from me. This is the lineup we're going with. We'll jump into the game against Ipswich and look at both teams. So quickly running through our lineup, it's Sheriff in goal. Morris has come in at left back and done okay. We did get the victory with him in the starting lineup last time out. Wright continues at right full back, but in reality, I think he'll probably get dropped in the next few weeks as well. Dorber will play on the left wing ahead of him. Rafinha on the left wing. I think I both said just they were both left wingers. They're not. Dobbs on the right, Rafinha's on the left. Smith and Welsh will be the central midfield, central defensive pairing. I am absolutely crushing this one so far. I'm finishing the week in the strongest possible place. Smith and Welsh will play as a central defensive partnership. Wolf and Wademan, first two names on the team sheet each week in midfield just there. Wademan, thankfully, now really adept at being a messiah on support in this central midfield role, which is great. We've been having him work on that for about 2 years, so good to see he's finally getting it. Ramsey, the leading assist creator for the season, will continue at the 10, and Dorian, the leading scorer, up top. They've got some quite good players there. A leading assist maker is also their captain, Jack Lancaster. Looks to be a good player who's come through their youth academy, and they've kept all the way through the save thus far. They've also got Jack Clark out here on the right-hand side, a very, very good young player who I think is from the Tottenham Academy originally. Oh no, apologies. He's from Leeds originally. At the start of the game, I think he's on loan at Leeds, but owned by Tottenham. He looks to have dropped down the divisions to Stoke, Leeds and Ipswich over the last few years. Still very good, but I don't think he's made the most of his potential entirely. And then through the middle, they've got quite a few different regions that I think look relatively solid. Patton can play in the middle, can play at the 10, which is where they're using him today. He looks very, very solid and quite good physically. Fortunato out on the left wing looks to be a very high quality prospect. He's a Gibraltar international, which is an interesting one to see. 19 years of age, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. Only making his second first team appearance for Ipswich, but he looks to be very, very good. I think he's an excellent player. As far as the dressing room's concerned, we're just going to assertively say we're huge underdogs, there's no pressure. I'm also going to assertively tell the defence that I have faith in them, because if we get a clean sheet, I think it puts us in a good stead to try and actually get a few points here. We nearly won the ball in the middle there. The press is quite high again. Fortunato, who we spoke about in the build-up, steps inside. Someone's got to go to him, and he's hit the base of the post with really his first effort on goal in this match. Very poor defensively there from Lewis Wright on the right-hand side. Morris with a throw in here on the left. First time we've started a highlight in possession. Long ball forward was never really on. It's fallen to Lancaster. Played forward to Clark. Steps inside. We could recover possession here, but he skips past the challenge of Wademan, who makes a good recovery run, but Patton's in the area. Poor from Smith, and then the strike from Lancaster at the top of the box. That was horrific defensively. Absolutely atrocious, both in midfield and in defence there. We're going to check this out in 3 dimensions. So Clark does pretty poorly there, and then 2 players slide in, knock it back in. Smith just gives up on it entirely. He tries to do a rainbow or something. It hits him in the back of the leg. Patton lays it off for Lancaster, and to be fair to Lancaster, he did his finish part quite well. But that's a really poor build-up play from us to eventually give them that opportunity. And if we're going to get a victory, we're going to have to do it from behind, which is some people's favourite position, but I'm not necessarily a fan of it right now. Morris with the ball over the top. Why are we going long balls, boys? We're set to shorter passing. Morris does recover possession, though. Wademan finds the Wolf. Just calm down, keep possession. He does quite well. Plays in Welsh. It goes all the way back to Sheriff. Work it out to the left-hand side. We've got a 2v1 on that side. Instead, he goes straight down the middle, straight to Lancaster, who picks up possession. Brings in Fortunato, who holds up the ball quite well and plays it to Waldron, the overlapping fullback. Back into Guest through midfield. He's looked for the crossfield switch towards Clark. Good crosses shut down well. Scott with the ball away. And Smith again has brought the ball down in the 6-yard box. And Lancaster has smashed that one home for his 4th goal of the season. Kingsley Smith has been horrific. Do I dare destroy this boy's career by dragging him 13 minutes into a game? Tyrone Taylor's going to come on. I'm going to leave him as a central defender on defend. Assertively, I have faith in you make a difference. And let's also, there's a highlight going on here. If this is a 3rd goal, I might just burst into tears. And it'll just be an episode of me sobbing uncontrollably into a microphone. Scott's picked up the challenge here and skipping into midfield. No one's going to him again. Fortunato chases the ball in the corner and Dorbat thankfully gets goal side and clears into touch. Right, let's also use our demand more shout. Come on, boys. You've got to lift. At least if you want to focus on the positive, everyone seemed focused there for a moment. We haven't conceded now in about 8 minutes of the game, so that's a step in the right direction. 10 minutes remaining. When you use Get Creative, we can pull 1 goal back before half-time. We might be in with a shout of actually trying to get something out of this game. But a 2-0 deficit at half-time. They do say it's the most dangerous lead to defend, but it's really hard to come back from as well. 2-0 down at half-time, 7 shots, 4 on target, 36% for Ipswich. We've effectively handed them both goals. 5 shots, 2 on target, 64% of the ball for us. Aggressively, I expect to see a much better showing from him in the second half. We'll leave it on positive. If we don't improve in 15 minutes or score in that time, we'll move to attacking for the last half an hour or so. But so far, our attacking structure hasn't worked quite well for us at this higher divisional level. They've got the ball in midfield. No one's going to Jack Clark again. Everyone's a mile behind it, and thankfully his drive from the edge of the area. Sheriff watches it sail over the crossbar. All right, we're through now. We're going to move to our attacking structure, and we're just going to go subs based on form. Ricky Dean will come on at right midfield because Dorba has not played a good game. Morris is struggling as well. We'll bring on Preston Kelly. I just can't seem to solve this left back spot at the moment. Passionately, I have faith in you guys. And then let's also use our Get Creative shout. I'm going to leave Doran out there. We just don't seem to score at the moment with Knowles. At least we have the nearly a good header there from Ramsey from the set piece. At least we have reinforcements coming in January. We've just got to try and get through December and limit damage as much as possible. As things currently stand, this would see us drop down to 17th spot, 22 points played. Or sorry, we've just dropped down to 18th as that was talking, with our next opponent, Blackburn, jumping above us. We're into the last 10 minutes now as well, with very few highlights in the second half. We're going to use a demand more shout. It's 5 minutes of additional time. Can we try and save a little bit of face here, boys, and get 1 goal back? Welsh goes all the way back to Sheriff in goal. Play it forward, work it to the left-hand side. Instead, he goes straight down the middle, puts the Wolf under a tremendous amount of pressure. Lancaster's recovered quite well in midfield. I think he might be set to a pressing forward because he's winning back a lot of ball for them in final third areas. Patton with the cross. It's a good header away. Here we go. Ramsey's going to run at Doran. Play him in, please. Reverse pass to Doran. He's far on the right. Can he get the strike away? He's managed to clip the inside of the post, and then Muir does quite well to come out and claim the rebound. Interesting effort trying to curl it back in towards the goalkeeper. I would have rather he just tried to leather it into a corner. But the referee calls full time. It's a 2-0 defeat, 11 shots, 6 on target, 37% possession. And for us, 14 shots, 7 on target, 63% of the ball. I have been trying to keep myself kind of relatively mellow and just reminding myself we just need to stay in the division. That's the goal for the season. But when you give away 2 errors like that for 2 goals so early in the game, you kind of shoot yourself in the foot. Assertively, not happy with the performance out there. I don't think we need to settle for anything, and I'm not going to try and coddle anyone any further. So 18th place, 18 games played, 6 wins, 4 draws, and 8 defeats for a -4 goal difference. But the focus, and really the point that, potentially could be a positive, is if we get like 2 or 3 wins, we can very easily jump up towards the playoff promotion spots almost. The team in 6th, Reading, is in 29 points. I don't really want to get that, but if we're at this point and know we can actually get points against teams in this division, we should maybe shoot a little bit higher. Mid-table would be fine. Anywhere between like 10th and 14th, I think, is a good range for us to be at right now. Managerless Ipswich overcome FC Isle of Man. No wonder, they can't fuck up the team talk if they don't have a coach. And Jack Lancaster gets the Man of the Match award for his 2 goals, 9.0 match rating. And to be fair to him, he took both the chances very well and he looked busy. He did recover possession quite a bit as well. We have 4 days before the game against Blackburn. I am going to give everyone a rest day. And then I think we're also going to, before we jump forward, have a look at the last 5 games and as far as the match ratings go for that. So at the moment, Morris is really struggling. Lewis Wright's really struggling. So maybe we put in Phil Nelson at right back and see how he goes. Stuart Darber's been really poor, so we're probably going to bring in Ricky Dean. And Rafinha's been poor, but his replacement, Dave Reale, has the worst current, most recent results of anyone. So we're in a bit of a sticky situation. Potentially, if this continues and we struggle through December, we may try and leverage the January transfer market a little bit as well. We've got a little bit of wage budget left. I'm sure there'll be young players looking to go out on loan. Maybe we try and pick up a winger that can potentially play on either side to add a little bit of additional quality from there. But again, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Magic of editing, we'll jump forward to the game against Blackburn now. Jumping forward a little bit now, and it's a very familiar Blackburn side. We, of course, played them in the FA Cup last season and managed to scrape our way through after a 3-3 draw and then a 0-0 draw, getting through on penalties. So we've seen Quello before, we've seen Dembele before, who's having a good season for him. Apaya scored a couple in that game. They picked up Herrera in midfield, who looks relatively good. Looks like he's been quite a few different clubs over the last few years. They've also got Raul Guti, who I think actually played against us in the previous game. Garcia, the captain, comes through the Manchester City and Barcelona academy, so hell of a pedigree for him, and he looks to be quite a technically proficient central defender there, so he looks like a decent player as well. And of course, who I think is one of the better keepers in the division, if you can pick him up early in your saves, Brentford goalkeeper at the start of this database and start of the save. David Raya, very good goalkeeper across a variety of roles as well. Passionately, we're going to say we owe Blackburn after what happened in our last match. Everyone seems motivated, which is good. And even though the results haven't been great, our morale is still relatively good. I'm hoping to try and keep that intact as much as humanly possible, particularly if the board's going to give up on me relatively quickly. Corner here, Dean to take. First highlight of the game. Raya comes out and claims well. We've got to drop very quickly, boys. It's a bit lackluster here. We're 2v2 at the back. Dembele thankfully picks that one up and goes backwards with his pass. Get back in shape, lads. Now they go to João Pedro, the overlapping fullback on the right-hand side. Back into Karamoko Dembele. Now Goody to Black. Turns Apaya inside and he's dry from the edge of the area. It wasn't far away. Keeper was scrambling. We had a lot to do to get back on side and it needed a lot of power to get beyond the goalkeeper at near post, but it wasn't a bad effort. Wolf recovers possession here. Nelson looks to send it into the corner. Ugalumba. Now Garcia. Back to Ugalumba again and Garcia. Please give it up. Oh, I thought for a second maybe it looked like Doran was going to pick up possession there as they try and play it around. But he just doesn't have the anticipation to win the ball back in those scenarios, even though he's always near to it. Garcia with the ball now. Ugalumba. Very patient build-up play. Now they go the long one forward. Quello knocks it back to Ugalumba, the left back. I just like saying Ugalumba. That's a fun one to say. It's probably not how it's pronounced, but it's how I've done it. Apaya's picked up the ball now and rounds the goalkeeper. That's incredibly patient football from Blackburn there. That's not the Blackburn that Allardyce managed. It's not the Blackburn that Mark Hughes managed. It's a very good build-up play here. And then eventually Garcia just pops it into that space, and it's very poor from Welsh, who's usually fantastic. Apaya manages not just to bring the ball down, but skip around him and the goalkeeper and pass it into the back of the net. We're going to use our demand more shout a little bit earlier. Let's see if we get a response after conceding the goal. A few players seem focused, but statistically we're not really at the races at the moment. One additional minute to be added on. We're through that now. So at halftime, we're a goal down. They've had 9 shots, 5 on target and 50% of the ball. We've had 3 shots, 2 on target and 50% ourselves. We're going to aggressively say, show me something else after halftime, and they've at least responded positively. I feel like I'm having to pull out the hairdryer quite a bit at the moment, which is very frustrating. Wait a minute, sends the ball out to Morris. Looks like October's going to be a struggle month for us as well. Thank God we started the season relatively well and had a good September. Well, no, sorry, I should say November's going to be a struggle month for us as well. I can see December being a massive issue. There's a tremendous amount of football to be played during the festive period. We're through an hour now. There's a highlight here. Smith's managed to get it away for the corner. We'll let this corner play out before we make the subs. João Pedro with the ball and Garcia's header thankfully straight at the keeper. Is that the end of the highlight, or are we going to see something additional here? If we go out to the left, we've got a man goal side. Please go long. Please go long. We've waited way too long there. Thankfully, Ramsey will pick up the ball and has time to turn and drive. Can try and play in a teammate. Wademan looks out towards the left, but Ugalumba recovers quite well. We want it back there for a second. Rafinha now. Can he come forward? He loses out also. Morris with a good challenge, but only as far as Guti. João Pedro looks for the ball in behind. Black, who gave us trouble in the build-up to Apaya. Reverse pass to Apaya again, and he's found the finish. He's a good player. What's he like? 5th goal of the season. He's got 2 in this game. He's not even that good, but he's absolutely just doing bits against us at the moment. And I guess that sets us up to go to our attacking tactic. We might as well go attacking. We've got nothing to lose. I'm more concerned about yellow cards at the moment than the team itself. Kingsley Smith's going to come off. 2nd game in a row. Rafinha, I don't have a left back, so let's also take off Ricky Dean. Stephen Dorber can come back on. We've got nothing to lose here, boys. Let's just go passionate. I have faith in you guys. Let's go attacking, and let's see what happens. Raya plays it out to Garcia. They looked out to the left. Thankfully, the highlight comes to an end. Get creative. There's about 25 minutes remaining. At least pull one back, lads. At least get a goal in this game so that we can say that we kind of saved a little bit of face, that we kind of pulled something back, showed a little bit of character. 10 minutes remain. We're going to use our demand more shout. But in reality, I think this one might be a little bit beyond us. We've got to throw in deep in our half here. Can we pull back a consolation goal? Nelson with the ball in towards Doran. It's headed away, and then Goody flicks it on. They're 2v2 at the back here. They're just leaving men forward all throughout the game. Appiah's got on goal side and he's on for the hat-trick. Thankfully, the drive straight to Sheriff, who does quite well to save and hold. 4 minutes additional time. I think it's going to just rocket by. We're through that time now. And the referee calls full time. What a disappointing episode. 16 shots, 10 on target, 57% of the ball. We had 11, 8 and 43%. And really the only thing we let in was bookings with 5 players getting yellow cards. I am going to aggressively say, far from pleased with that result. At least everyone seems fired up. But this might be one of those weird occasions in Football Manager where I need to step away and not play the game for a couple of days to kind of get my shit together and figure out what we're doing wrong. It does see us drop down to 20th position in the division, which isn't ideal. Only 2 spots out of the relegation spots. Thankfully, we are 5 points clear, but the goal difference isn't any better than Charlton or Wigan, who've come up. Derby and Nottingham Forest are struggling. And I guess the only thing that we could potentially use as a bit of a bonus, goal difference will of course come into it, but there are quite a few teams within one game's play. We could jump up if we won by an astronomical margin as high as 13th with a win in the next game. So I think it's probably too early to write us off, but we do definitely need to try and improve this little run of form that we've been in here. So maybe a tactical tweak is necessary for the next episode. I think what we will do is jump ahead quite a little bit, and we're probably going to come back and maybe we'll do a Christmas episode. We haven't done one in a little while. The game against Sheffield Wednesday, a bit of a revenge mission. They were very, very good the first time we played them, beating us 3-0 quite convincingly. And then also a FA Cup third round game. There is potential that we will get a tie against Premier League opposition. So it would be good to actually see that match if it is a high division side. And worst case scenario, if it's not, FA Cup fixtures, the magic of the cup, they're always great to see. It does mean we'll probably play 4 or 5 games off screen, but like if we're going to continue dishing up performances like the ones we've seen in this episode, it's not the greatest content anyway. We'll just keep losing and not scoring. As always, guys, thank you for the continued support on the channel. Even as bad as our results can get at certain points, and we knew that the championship was going to be a massive battle and we're just trying to stay in the league, the ongoing support for the series, the continued increase in views, the continued increase in subs means a tremendous amount. So thank you to everyone that has joined us for the journey so far. It's no win in done. Even if we get relegated, I'm still going to go again. We'll get promoted out of League One. We were champions last year. We could definitely do it with a better squad. Do all that great stuff like the video, subscribe to the channel, blah, 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 whatever you guys hear from usual content creators. Our links to our Twitter and also to our Twitch page are over on that side as well. If you want to check those out, you are more than welcome to. Like I said at the start, more than anything, thank you for watching. I've been Sean and I'll see you guys next time in the mixer.